All right, it's part 3 of Snare Drum of the Week. This is the drum I was actually going to feature in part 2, but I decided to do the WFL Parade drum instead. But this is a 5.5x14 Slingerland 1964 Artist Series drum. It has a solid maple shell with solid maple reinforcement rings, very rounded bearing edges, very flat snare beds. It's got an internal muffler that still works. It's got the original Slingerland throw-off. I think they call it a Zoom-matic. Everything still works. The only thing I replaced on it was the heads and the wires. These are Canopus vintage series wires. But other than that, it's all original. I got really lucky. I actually found this drum. I actually found a whole kit of this, a 1964 Blue Sparkle Slingerland kit. It had one owner. Just found it locally nearby on Craigslist. If you want to check out that kit, I actually used it for my John Bonham style drum meditation, groove meditation video. So you can check that on my YouTube channel. I'll put a little card up here. You can check it out. So anyway, this drum, I learned what a wooden snare drum sounds like versus a metal drum on, not this exact drum, but a version of this that I borrowed from my uncle when I was 13, 14 years old. He had this identical with the Blue Sparkle mid-60s drum. I borrowed that. It ended up being like a perfect drum for musical theater. I did a lot of community theater stuff back then, orchestral work, anything that needed a kind of dry but kind of warm, rich, full sound. This drum was perfect for that. I did a lot of brushes, straight ahead jazz, that kind of stuff on this drum. So I kind of learned how a wooden snare can provide just like a warmer, fuller, punchier sound as compared to the acrylite that I had, or also had a Pearl Export steel drum at the time, so this is very different. I also had no idea that snare drums could be made with a solid shell back then. I remember thinking like, man, I can't really figure out how many plies this drum is, because I always thought wood drums are, they're ply drums. How many plies is it? It just confused me because I couldn't count them, but I didn't know that it was just one single ply of wood. Anyway, so this drum, I have it set up right now, and it's kind of my go-to for anything that's kind of like 70s funk. Something that needs like a tight sound, but real dry and kind of snappy. I'm thinking like Bernard Purdie, Steve Ferrone with the Average White Band, that kind of like 70s funk pocket playing. So we're going to check it out. I'm going to be actually playing the beat for Pick Up the Pieces by Average White Band. So let's check it out. All right. All right, well, thanks for checking it out. Like I said, this is a 5.5x14 Slingerland Artist Series solid maple. If you can find those, get them. It's essentially like a Radio King, but you don't have to pay a Radio King price for it. They also make 3-ply versions, which we'll talk about in a later video because I have one of those too that I really like. But this is a great wood drum, pretty versatile. It really likes to be dampened. Like I have this piece of towel. It's actually binder clipped onto the head. So there's almost no overtone, but it's real kind of punchy and snappy. It's a great drum. Like I said, I use it for jazz, funk, anything that needs a kind of a classic, like cracking wood sound. All right, next time we'll go into another relic that I discovered in high school. All right, thanks for checking it out. See ya.